And the clicker. Thank you. Hi, I'm Jeff. Just want to say hi. I've always wanted to start a talk like that. Hi, I'm Jeff Wasielewski. I'm the commercial tropical fruit extension agent for Miami-Dade County. And today we're going to talk about the horticulture of growing mangoes, mango trees, mango fruit. So if you bought a tree today, this is the talk for you. I do work for UF5 Extension. University of Florida has an extension office in all 67 counties. So whatever county you came from today, we have an extension office there for you. I work with tropical fruit growers. We do have someone who works with vegetable growers, nursery growers, homeowners, master gardeners, etc. Love the clicker.
You have to go there.
Nothing has changed since I worked here. So I do have something called Tropical Fruit Tuesdays. It's a free webinar. It happens once a month. We just did growing mangoes in South Florida. We're doing hurricane prep in July 30th. And I'm going to do a hands-on pruning class in July 23rd. I'll give you a QR code of how to sign up for that. That's going to be at the extension office. It's going to be 2 hours. And we're actually going to do a lecture on pruning, and then we're going to do hands-on pruning. Here's all the Tropical Fruit Tuesdays we've done. They're all on YouTube. I do have a tropical fruit information page. This is really good for you. It tells you all the places you can buy fruit trees, all the places you can buy fertilizer, chemicals, all kinds of information there. And you can search Miami-Dade Extension Tropical Fruit and you'll find it. Or you can just scan this QR code. As far as QR codes go, I worked here about 15 years ago in the marketing department. And someone came in, Gabby, she came in and said, oh, we're going to do QR codes. It's this thing that you scan and we can put it on the plants and you'll get all kinds of information. And I was like, this is never going to catch on. These QR codes are never going to be anything. And look at us now. Look at me now. She was right. I was wrong. What else is new? So where should you get information? This is a great place to get information. Dr. Campbell just gave you a bunch of information. These are some places. Ask IFAS is a super good database that has all kinds of information. You can get information, and it's from University of Florida. You can get information from other universities. YouTube, master gardeners, plant clubs, societies, social media, your own garden, your own grove. That's the #1 place to get information, because if you pay attention out there, you're going to see stuff, you're going to learn stuff. And then finally, beware the source of your information. We're going to see something later that proves this point. You have batteries or something? Okay, so now we're getting to the good stuff. That was all the background. So now we're getting to the mangoes. Here we go. So look at that. This is why you guys are here, because you love mangoes. Maybe I'll just stand here. Okay, so I was giving a talk on the west coast of Florida. And we had a little mango grove, or a little grove, and it had like almost no fruit. These were some Cary mangoes. There were only 2 on the tree, and I came across this. It says Josephine, says the phone number, smiley face, and at the bottom it says, you touch, you die. So that's the passion, right? That's why you're here in all that heat, because of this. Because Josephine is going to kill somebody for that Cary mango. And how do we know she's serious? She put her phone number, right? She's like, try me. Don't take my Cary. Okay, so I worked here at Fairchild in the marketing department, but I also worked here in the horticulture department with Dr. Campbell. And he used to put on massive mango festivals just like this with Dr. Norris Ledesma. And they came up with a lot of high quality selections called Curator Choice Mangoes. They really changed the vocabulary of mangoes. They came up with the condo mango, and they've been doing 30 years of education. That's what makes these mango festivals different from all the other ones, is these talks where you have education. You don't just get fruit and mangoes or on trees. Can you see me over here? I might just have to. Okay, so here's some of the mangoes. Dr. Campbell talked about the new wave. These are kind of the classic Fairchild mangoes. This one happens to be called Fairchild. It was a Fairchild curator choice. Disease tolerant, excellent flavor. Comes in June, July. I love it. Not at all. The Malacca, another Fairchild curator choice. Good commercial potential, good producer, excellent flavor. June, July, you ripen it off the tree. It's the only true Indian mango that works in the tropics. So a lot of people want to grow things like Alphonse and things like that. It's working?
I got it to work. I don't know, I unplugged it.
Okay. The old turn it off, turn it on trick. Oh, that would be so awesome.
Okay.
That would be great, because I like to roam and roam.
You roam, I got this.
Okay, here we go. Now I'm free. Okay, the Neelam. This is a late mango, late season, another Fairchild curator choice. So these weren't really in the, like, people didn't know about these mangoes until Dr. Campbell and Dr. Ledesma kind of picked them out and started selling them here. Rosy Gold, this one's really early. If you want an early mango, this one's super early. It can come in May. Usually mangoes come in June, July. Angie, this is named after Angie Whitman. Some of you might know her. Super good. I have a couple Angies in my house right now that I'm going to devour when I get home. Now, here we get into the horticulture. So, if you're going to grow a mango, if you're going to have a mango tree, we're going to start from the beginning of how to get a mango tree, get in the ground and get the fruit. So mangoes have to be properly propagated. So what does that mean? Two things. Well, one thing, they need to be grafted, okay, that you don't grow them from seed. So number one, they need to be grafted and you don't grow them from seed. If you grow them from seed, if we take that Fairchild mango, or that Malacca mango, and we plant that seed. We eat the fruit, and we plant the seed of the Fairchild, and we want the Fairchild for our own tree, but we plant the seed from that fruit. When it grows up, it's not gonna be a Fairchild mango. The mother, the tree, was a Fairchild, but whatever pollinated it was not a Fairchild, so it's gonna be a cross. Just like all those wangos Dr. Campbell was talking about, they're all crosses. They're not the same as the parent. So that's one thing. The other thing is, when you grow fruit trees from seed, they fruit very slowly. They have to go through all the stages of sexual maturity very slowly. So if you have a grafted mango, it can give you fruit in 3 years, 4 years. If you have one from seed, it could take 7, 8, 9 years before you get anything. And then remember, it's not the same as the parent, so it could be garbage by the time you get it. And then that's real trouble. Okay? So this on the right just does happen to be a Fairchild mango. You can see that line. So the bottom is a mango seedling, and the top is a piece of a Fairchild taken from a Fairchild tree, and you weld them together, and that's grafting. So the top is a Fairchild, the top is sexually mature. So you don't want it from seed. There's a graft on the left, there's a seedling on the right. So they have to be a baby mango, they have to be a toddler mango, texting mango, Instagram mango. They get up to a TikTok mango, they go to college, they're finally mature, they can finally put out some fruit. So that's why it takes so long if you do it from seed. So don't do it from seed. These ones out here that have a name that they're selling, those are all grafted. So when someone comes to me and says, what kind of mango do I have? I ask them, where did you get it from? Where did you get it? Did you buy it from a nursery? No, I planted it from seed. Then my job is very easy because I know it doesn't have a name. It's a seedling. When they show me a mango that actually is a cultivar, my job is very hard because there's like 2,000 cultivars. Okay, so on the right, you see a very young mango tree and it's already flowering. That one's only 2 years old. So that shows you that they're ready to go. That one's so young that I would cut the flowers off because if you had fruit on it, it would kind of weigh the tree down and could even damage it. Okay, so we've picked out our fruit. We've got our tree. We've got our cultivar. We've got the one that we want. We know it's the one that we want. We know it's properly propagated. So now we need to plant it. So when we plant it, we need to put it in the full sun. Don't put it on the north side of a big tree. Don't put it on the north side of your house. Don't put it in between two oak trees. Make sure it has full sun all day long. Hey, clicker. Stop clicking around over there. Okay, so we found our spot. Full sun, got our cultivar, we got our Fairchild mango, we're ready to plant it. So we're gonna take it out of the pot, we're gonna kind of check the roots. If we see roots that are wrapping around, not good, we wanna cut those because we don't want those roots, excuse me, that are wrapped around to get into the ground. We're gonna dig. This is the tool we're gonna use because we are in South Florida and we have limestone, so we're not gonna dig with a shovel. Don't try it. Now, very important that when you put this tree in the ground, you put it at the right level. If you put it too low, you've made a big mistake. If you put it a little high, you're good. How do we know what level is correct? You go down the trunk, you push away the soil, and when you see that first root that goes sideways, that's called the flare root, and that's the level you want it at. Usually the level in the pot is the right level, but we want to check because sometimes they have too much soil on top of the pot, so we want to push it away, look for that flare root. If you look at this mango, to the left and to the right, you see flare roots, right? See them? So this mango is exactly the right level. So there's one on the left that was planted too deep. If you look at the bottom, you can also see it was wrapped around. It was in a 3-gallon pot too long. On the right, this was a mango grove I went to, and they had all the soil piled up around the trunks. So I dug down on the right here. I never found a flare root. I kept going down and down and down and down. I never found it. So that's 6 inches right there. No flare root. The trees were doing terrible. So that was pretty easy to figure out why they were doing bad because they had this. Another thing you see there, if you look up where the green tape is, that green tape has been on there too long. You see it's pinching, so it's kind of cutting off the energy of the tree. So we're gonna go through the planting steps one by one. So we have our tools on the left. We have our mattock, we have our plant, we have our bucket, we have our tree tape, we have our hand pruners, we have our gloves. And on the right, I pushed it away, and you see on the right, sort of 3/4 there, you see that little flare root on the right bottom? So it's at the right level. So we want to get that in the ground at that level. Another thing you see there is all those green balls. That's slow release fertilizer that is in the pot from the nursery. So sometimes people want to take take it out of the pot and get rid of the pot, but in the bottom of the pot there's a little soil. So put that soil in the ground too, because it's going to have some good slow release fertilizer. Okay, so on the left we have the area we want to put it. So we're going to dig up that grass, then we're going to dig the hole like this. Pro tip, when you dig the hole, don't put the soil, don't dig the hole and throw the soil away from the hole, because you're going to have to get all that soil back in the hole. So keep the soil right by the hole, like we did here. And you see it's a little red. I do work in the redland. So this is a poet And it's just basically saying you get one chance to get that in the ground at the right level. If you don't get it at the right level, you're in trouble. And I'm going to come to your grove and I'm going to pull it away. I'm going to say, it's too deep. And then what do you do at that point? You can't pull it up. Okay, so here on the left, I'm sort of checking the level of the hole. If it's too deep or too shallow, I'm going to adjust that. I'm going to put more soil in, or God forbid, I'm going to have to dig the hole deeper. So then on the right, I put it in there. Now we're going to backfill the soil. You see something wrong with this picture now, right? It's an avocado, sorry. This is a sin. If if Richard was here, I'd be in trouble. He'd be calling me. So anyway, you backfill all the soil like we did on the right. We get everything flush. Now, remember that green tape that was left on too long? I'm going to fix that right now. I'm not going to wait. So I'm going to cut it off on the right here, and now my tree is falling over, right? Because it was on the bamboo and it was kind of stuck there, so it's not firm enough. But we don't want it to fall over, but we don't want it to get pinched. So what do? I take this flagging tape, and you can use tree tape as well, the green tape that I just showed you, or this flagging tape, and I tie it back, but I tie it a little loose. So the tree can move a little, get stiffened up, but it's not going to fall over. And there at the bottom, you see the tree tag, which has the name of the cultivar. Very important, because if you plant that in the ground, you leave that tag on there, and the writing comes off or it fades away, then you're going to come to me and say, what kind of mango is this? But you know, but you just lost it because you didn't. Oh, it's coming. Because you didn't write it down. That's what we're going to have to do. Okay, so there it is on the left. Next thing we're going to do is water it. Very important. Go ahead. So there's the water. And on the left, you see the water has kind of pushed away some of the soil. And you see the flare roots there at the bottom. So we're going to kind of amend that a little with some good mulch. The mulch is going to protect the tree from the weed whacker guy. The mulch is going to be like compost. The mulch is going to stop the weeds. Mulch is great. When I was here, I wrote an article called Mulch Madness. Like, I love mulch. I have so much mulch in my yard. Okay, so there, I'm going to use a whole wheelbarrow full of mulch for one tree. If you're buying your mulch, I would use like one bag of mulch. So there you put it around the tree. And now what you're going to do is you're going to make a circle with the mulch, but you're not going to mound the mulch up on the trunk. You're going to pull it away like a donut, because we don't want that mulch on the trunk, because that's just like planting it too deep. So we have a donut there. On the right, it's still a little high. We're going to pull everything back. Go ahead. Now, where I work, we have a crew that comes and cuts the grass. So I have to outsmart them. If they hit my tree with a weed whacker, it's my fault. So I have the mulch barrier, and then I also put a little plastic thing like this. That helps, but I have to keep the weeds away from the trunk. Even with this and the mulch, if the weeds get in there, they're going to get in there with the weed whacker and try to hit it, because that's their job, right? Their job is to get rid of the weeds. So I can't be mad. I can only be mad at myself if I let them hit the tree. So there it is, mulch, pulled away, little plastic. There it is on the right. Everything's good. Now this is what I was talking about, is you have to write down what you have. So if you only have 5 mangoes in your yard, write them down right where they are. Put that somewhere. Take a picture of it so you have like 2 or 3 copies. This is my grove at work. There's the Donny avocado that I just planted. I mean mango. So here's the mulch, right? This is a mulch on another mango. And if you look carefully on the right side of that circle, you see a tire track at the bottom right. That was them cutting the grass with the machine, and they got a little close to my mango. So if that didn't have the mulch there, they would have run over my mango. Now, we talked about weed whacker guy. This is a dead tree pulled up out of the ground. laid down. We're looking at it from up above. You see the flare roots at the bottom, so it was planted at the right level. But above that, you see all kinds of weed whacker damage. So that's why the tree died. So today, go home, look at your trees. If you have somebody who cuts your lawn, I'll bet each of you $5 that you're gonna have some weed whacker damage. Some of you won't, but in the end, it'll balance out. I'll make money. Go ahead. Now this is why, because I'm telling you, don't let them weed whack, but who cares, right? But this is why. If you take a mango and you cut it and you look down from above, what you're gonna see is that on the left, the red in the middle is called the xylem. That's where things go up, the water goes up. It's like tubes. On the outside, you have the phloem in the blue. That's where things go down. The tree makes food, it sends it down to the roots. So if we cut that, like on the right, then we're cutting off the tree's ability to give itself food. So it's gonna starve. So you might look at it, it looks like it doesn't have enough nutrition, and you might bring the leaves into my office and show it to the master gardeners, and they'll say, oh yeah, this needs nitrogen, or this needs this or that. But really, it's getting weed whacked and it can't feed itself. Okay, so what's the best fertilizer for fruit trees? This is something I'm sure you want to know. So go to Tropical Fruit Tuesdays, go to YouTube, search Tropical Fruit Tuesdays fertilizer. No, go ahead. Okay, this is what I was talking about when I said, beware the information that you get from the interwebs. Okay? So, I was trying to find some labels, some fertilizer labels for my talk. Not this talk, but another talk. So I was going through Google, and you know, it comes up with all those questions, those little questions that are related to what you're talking about. So it said, what's the best fertilizer for fruit trees? I'm like, hey, I want to know that. I'm going to teach a class about that. So I clicked on it, and it said fruit trees prefer an organic, high nitrogen fertilizer. That's exactly, completely backwards and wrong. Nitrogen makes it grow green and leaves. We don't want green and leaves with our mango. We want fruit. So be careful what you get and where you get it. So what does what? Whenever you look at a fertilizer label, you're going to see 3 numbers, and they're always NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Nitrogen, leaves green, great for grass. Phosphorus, roots and shoots, you're probably going to get that in your soil already. Potassium, that's fruiting and flowering. That's the one you want. So when you look at a fertilizer label, and you're going to get fertilizer for your fruit trees, not just mangoes, but fruit trees, you always want that last number to be higher than the first number. So the typical fruit tree special is an A39. That's what you're going to hear everybody tell you to use. So the last number is higher than the first number. Potassium is higher than nitrogen, so that's good. But we could do better, I think, because it's not that much higher. So for mangoes, you're going to use even lower nitrogen. Clicky McGrew. So here's some that I found that say fruit trees, fruit and flower. Take a look at them. What's wrong here? 493. The nitrogen is higher. The first number is higher than the last number. This is garbage. Sorry, company. Oh, wait. Citrus 646. Is the last number higher? No. 624. Not good. Am I going too?
I'm sorry.
What's going on over there?
You're just talking with your hands. So
Oh, yeah, my fault. Okay, hey. Okay, so here's the A39. What's a little better? 6:3:16. Look at that ratio. I like that. Okay, so that's something that could be better. Now, for mangoes, sometimes you'll get a 0022, a 00 something. So that last number is all potassium. So we use that a lot for mangoes. We don't use any nitrogen, and that's something that's pretty good as well. And on that webpage I told you about, there's a whole list of places you can buy fertilizer that are not the big box stores. The big box stores are selling fertilizer for other parts of the country, not so much South Florida. So where don't you put the fertilizer? I told you we have a crew that kind of works on our grove at work. They put it on the tree, they put it all around the base there. So you don't want to clump the fertilizer, you want to take it and you want to throw it, and you want to throw it there on the left in that area, the drip line. So you want to walk around and throw it like that. Now, pruning. I'm teaching a class on pruning. I have pruning tools in my car. I love pruning. So here's Dr. Campbell actually picking fruit, and he's got his pole picker, and that's not easy to do, right? We want to keep our trees a little smaller. So how do we do that? You guys have your new trees that you bought. They're little like this. What I want you to do when you plant them, cut them like that. Cut the top off. Because we don't want that tree going up, 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 up. We want the tree going sideways. Up, 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 can't get the fruit. Sideways, you can get the fruit. Up, 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 there's one place to get flowers. If we cut it on the right, now we have 6 places to get flowers instead of 1. Now, if we cut each of those 6, we cut all those, 6 times 6, we have 36 spots to get fruit, or to get flowers and fruit. If we cut it again, I can't do the math, but you know there's a lot. So here's one that's bigger, it's fuller, and that one in my hand, we're gonna nip it. And we're gonna keep continuing to do that for the first about 2 years. And that's the first cut. You see with this good, nice branching. That's what it kind of looks like. You see how it's all compact? It's not straight up in the air. Can you press play?
Play here?
Yeah, like hover over it. See that little triangle in the bottom left? Yeah. Look how hard this is. Tip, tip. This is a Tommy Atkins, so it grows really vigorously. Tip, tip. Whew, that's a good day's work for University of Florida. Okay, so now, 1 year, 2 year, we're just tipping, tipping, tipping. We're getting the shape, but it's not ready to fruit yet. Now, when it's ready to fruit, we're gonna wait on year 3 and 4, we're gonna wait. If it flowers and fruits, then we're gonna prune right after that. If it doesn't flower that year, we can prune going into the dry season. So on the left, you see that vigorous shoot going straight up. That's the one I wanna take off. And I don't tip that one, I take it all the way down to the trunk. We're controlling the height. So the one on the right, it's all tipped. Perfect shape. Okay, look at the one on the left. We can obviously see what we want to prune there, right? There's a strong, vigorous, upright, and we want to get rid of that. Right. So that's a great looking mango because you can just walk and get all this fruit. I mentioned this, when to prune. You prune after you pick your last fruit. Now's a great time to prune. A lot of you have fruit trees and you probably have no fruit or you're ready to pick the last fruit. Prune right after that. Okay, if you want to get into my hands-on pruning class, QR code. Okay, there's one person. Okay, there's 2, there's 3. Begging, I'm begging. Only 20 people can go. It is $30. Look at everyone put their phones down. It's 10 to 12, and there's places to eat nearby. What's that? Okay. So, anthracnose. On the right, you see anthracnose. This is a big problem with mangoes, this black fungus. Couple ways you can get around it without chemicals. One is through pruning, keeping your trees open and to the light and through the air. That's very important 2 is variety, the cultivar, what you choose. All the ones I showed you are very good of not getting that much anthracnose. All the ones Dr. Campbell showed you, very good of not getting anthracnose. So if you get a Hayden, if you really like Hayden, it's going to get anthracnose. Okay, so another question is, now we have our tree, we have the right cultivar, we have the right place, we planted it, we fertilized it, we pruned it. Now we finally have our fruit, when to pick. So it's hard to tell. A lot of them have a color break, like this Glen. On the right there, you can obviously see which one's ready to go. But some of them don't. So you're looking for fat shoulders. You're looking for the mango to be wide. So they're going to be growing long, and then when they fatten out, then they're mature. Okay, this is another video. So we're going to take a walk through my grove. I don't have the steadiest hands. Okay, so this is a Kent. None of those are ready. And you see these are old trees that I never pruned. I inherited these. Here's a Valencia Pride. So they're just super tall. Here's a Glen. The Glen kind of grows on its own wider. That's another thing. Cultivars, it can change how the tree grows. Some of them grow straight up, like a Kent. Some of them, like a Glen, grow wider. So you can see the ones that are ready. Like that one's a beauty. Chomp.
Why don't you have a lot of leaves?
Not a lot of leaves, just the time of the year, very dry. They're kind of putting their energy into the fruit. Okay, you can go forward. Okay, this is a trick that you can use when you go to pick your fruit that's ready. Don't go like this and break it off. That's what happened to the one on the right. Then you get that sap. That sap, if you've ever gotten it on your soft parts of your body, it'll give you dermatitis. It'll make you itch really bad. Mangoes are related to poison ivy. So that sap is no fun. If you get it on in your palms, you can just wash your hands. You're probably okay. But if you get it on your palms and you got an itchy eye right here, not so good. But if you cut it and you leave a little stub like that, you're probably not going to get that sap. See the difference in the two? Those are not like super mature, so they're both going to shoot out sap if you break them. But if you leave the little stub, they won't. Okay, if you want to join my email list, QR codes are never going to catch on, Gabby. And on the email list, it's a lot of stuff for commercial growers, but I will tell you when there's Tropical Fruit Tuesdays and things like that. And finally, self-promotion. I love me some me. Okay. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure.